And I think there's people who go through a whole lifetime chasing money, chasing. Many of who get there. But it's so damn stressful. And if they're not worrying about making it, they're worrying about losing it. And it's because they associate the reason that they're making money because of the hours they're putting in, because of how hard they're grafting, how hard they're working. But what I've come to realize is the amount of money you make today in this world that we live in today is a direct result of the amount of value you provide to society. And what makes the world so different today is that we can reach millions and billions of people from our laptops at home. People often say it's all right for famous people, it's all right for musicians. You know, they do their hobbies, they do their passions, and they make all of this money and it's so easy for them. But they often underestimate things like, well, one of the principles, the core principles of making money is the value you provide to the world. Songs, music. They can take you out of states of depression, bad moods, good moods, bring people together. And I use that as an example because we often look to the outside world, to what other people are achieving, and we feel it's all right for them. They were lucky enough to have a passion. They were lucky enough to have parents who encouraged them to pursue their passions, and now look what they've achieved. But it's never too late to discover your passion, and it's never too late to profit from your passion. When I was in my career, getting up in the morning to my alarm clock, driving to work, doing my thing on the phone, it's very much about me. Not everyone's the same. It's not because of the industry I was in, just my mindset. It's very much about me. My drive was the bank balance. My drive was progressing in my career. It wasn't fun. For me, I knew at my core I was meant to do more. And who feels that way? Who feels that they know they're destined to do more than the mundane, day-to-day, whatever it is that you're doing? Now, that's the majority of you in this room. In fact, I didn't even see anyone who didn't raise their hand. And honestly, guys, that's a really sad situation when we look at the world today. Because for me, the one thing that I never, ever take for granted, and you've probably heard me say this before, is waking up with that fire, waking up with that passion, waking up with immense amounts of gratitude to have money and business and success flowing to me as a byproduct of just doing what I love. And along the way, being able to impact a ton of people along the way. The skills that we have today, the majority of us, are obsolete. Our parents, our friends, the era that we grew up in, the pre-internet days, everything was built pre-digital. And there's two major things where that makes a major difference. The obvious, business, transaction, reaching out, having a global audience, not relying on a local community or a local public, people walking past your store or people to come into your shop and purchase. So that's the obvious. The less obvious, when I think about my parents' generation, our generation, for many people in this room, is that to grow, we kind of were fairly limited. We could get books, and I never would want to underestimate books. But my God, how easy is it now to overcome hurdles and learn in this digital world that we're in? Every insight, every progression that I made to get me out of my career, into self-employment, into eventually building my first business, into coming out of low periods, being in 2009, making all this money, doing it for the reasons that I wanted to look good, wanted to be flashy, took me one place, low. Nobody cares about Stuart Ross's life, apart from Stuart Ross. Nobody cares what car's on the drive, apart from Stuart Ross. It's an illusion. And it wasn't until I got out of my own way and started to share what I had done and started to impact others and help others get themselves out of situations that they didn't want to be in, that I really started to appreciate how great it is to have an impact and make things not always about you. The scary thing for me is that the world is changing, and I think it's changing faster and faster than what people realize. Technology, AI, all of these things, it's speeding up at such a rapid pace. And these skills that we learned from our teachers, from our parents' generation, from our friends, from our bosses, are skills that were developed before the internet. Most of my sales and influence skills that I used to list or sell houses, or cold call or convince, are obsolete now. Now, a lot of people would argue, they'd say, well, it's still working. Yeah, it's still working right now. It's still working right now. But here's the thing, businesses will adapt or die. And with what we're aware of, those of us who are taking and paying attention to the digital world, it's frightening how many jobs and how many industries are going to be transitioning. And the result of that is businesses will evolve or die. And it sounds scary. And it is scary. It's scary because not many people are paying attention. Some of the most successful businesses in the world are not paying attention because they think that we've got local demand, we're different. The world is changing and technology can achieve and do amazing things, and with artificial intelligence and everything that is coming, in many ways it's going to make it a much better world. But the cynical are scared of it. The naive are scared of it. Those who are putting their head in the sand are scared of it. But there's no need to be. We're moving into the digital gold rush. We're in the digital gold rush. And like the California gold rush, where people rush to get their gold, their picks and shovels and buckets, in the hope to get rich, that's what we're going to see in this digital gold rush. But there's two insights that I want to share that are most important. Now, the first insight is the obvious. All of these people that are going to be replaced by tools and technology and industries that are going to die because they don't adapt and they don't evolve, are going to put themselves in a situation where they die or they adapt. And the ones that adapt, guess what they're going to need to adapt? Skills. Digital skills. Now, in this digital gold rush, as these businesses are rushing to get over and transition, there's also going to be a ton of individuals who lose their jobs. And they're not going to want to fight for the few traditional jobs that are going, that are so underpaid that it makes them impossible to provide for their families. The wise ones are going to want to build their own businesses or take advantage of this intrapreneur world that we're moving into. And what I mean by that is businesses who embrace more of a freedom, flexible work ethic and start to attract these independent intrapreneurs who actually want to look for opportunities that are much more than just a job. They want to align themselves with the powerhouses. They want to align themselves with the big businesses. But at the same time, they want to be able to grow themselves and they want to be able to maybe do it from home. Why are so many people going to carry on commuting and alarm clocks and everything else when they can do, if they have the skills, incredible jobs from wherever they are? And as there's more pressure for people to move across, it's going to become more competitive, for sure. But that's why early adopters, like yourselves, like us, position ourselves in a way that we can take advantage of this digital gold rush. Now, if there's one thing I would say to anybody who's financially driven, wants to do incredibly well out of this transitional period, this tidal wave that's coming, is that they understand this one thing. They need to be a person of value for this digital economy. By 2030, futurists are predicting that 2 billion jobs will not be here. That's half the jobs in the world. You could be a coach or a consultant. You could be somebody who understands digital business. You don't have to be a techie. You don't have to build websites. You don't have to be a programmer, but you do need to be a person of influence and resources. You need to have strategy. You need to have game-changing insights that businesses can apply to their businesses. And frankly, that is not what you're going to learn today. There isn't time for that. Over the last 2 days, we've been teaching what I believe to be the #1 key principle, which is marketing and influence. And what you'll see when I talk you through these different opportunities, doesn't matter which one you pick, you're going to need to know how to market and influence if you're going to stand out from the crowd. Marketing and influence is what got me out of my career. It's what enabled me to build a business around my passion. And it's what enabled me to build an academy with Jay and for us to grow this company in 4 years, not even trying to grow fast, to over $1 million a month in revenue. Powerful, powerful skills. And we're such small fry in comparison to the Instagrams and the things that you see that are coming up and changing. And I think so many times it's like, I'll never be the Mark Zuckerberg. Neither will I. I'll never be the next inventor of Facebook. I'll never be the next inventor of Snapchat. Neither will I. You don't need to be. The days have gone of having to commute, sit in traffic, and most of all, do something that you don't really love that much. It's not that world anymore. You know that. We're in an era of the freedom entrepreneur. We can have our cake and eat it. We can travel the world. We can make stupid amounts of money. We can have impact. And whilst these things have always been possible, it's never, ever, ever been as feasible as it is right now. Would you agree? So would it be a shame to be asleep and miss this opportunity? My dad passed in July. 64 years old, he didn't have this opportunity. He had a great life. Not all of us were this lucky, this fortunate. And I'm talking about right now, today. You're here to get a skill. Not today here, in this room. I mean in this academy, in this community, to get a skill. And the skill we're talking about, specifically with SFM, is digital marketing. The skills we were talking about over the last 2 days for those that were here was marketing and influence. And marketing and influence is much bigger and more complicated and more powerful than the basic principles of digital marketing. But here's the thing, pretty basic digital marketing will get you into a place that is most likely, I don't know all of you in this room, but is, in your eyes financially, a heck of a lot more successful than where you are right now. Basic digital marketing skills. If we talk about the affiliate model, applying basic, simple digital marketing skills to sell somebody else's product and get paid a commission in your dressing gown. I think you probably get what I'm saying. There's a tidal wave coming. We all need to be awake. We need to re-skill. Now, SFM isn't about high-level marketing and influence like many of you have learned from me over the last 2 days. It's really about more of the basics, and the basics are enough to get you out of your situation and create the income, the freedom, and the lifestyle that you're wanting, the reason why you're here. What am I most grateful for from the digital economy? Not the money, the material things, the cars, the travel. The ability to recognize the importance of self-aware and get to work on that shit. Aware of my emotions, aware of my blocks. And it's not difficult to do, you just need to make a decision to be aware. Next time you want to scream at someone, you want to shout at someone, you're pissed off because someone cut you up, and you go into some rage that does no one any favours, particularly yourself, be aware of it. Now, I can't give you the answers why you have these things. I just know every one of you has them, because I know I have them. I still have them. But I also know what got me to where I am right now, more than anything else, is overcoming those things. Because my financial thermostat was about 6 or 7 grand a month. That was my financial thermostat because I believe time was money. Because I was told time was money. And so I only had so much time, and I wasn't all that educated. So if my time is money, I'm not really worth that much. And there's only so many hours in the day. So as I became aware of my financial thermostat, I realized that I was only going to get my career, or more importantly, my first business, because that's really where I came aware, to a certain level, because it was limited. I had a limiting belief. I had a bullshit rule, that my time was money. And it wasn't until I became self-aware of that I read things like Think and Grow Rich and The Science of Getting Rich. And I reprogrammed from the best, from the leaders of money. And do you know what happened? Went to 10 grand a month, 20 grand a month, 50 grand a month. Money, obscene amounts of money that I was too embarrassed to even talk about. I went from bragging to being embarrassed because of the amount of money that was flowing to me. And it all came through the reprogramming. So belief is what's going to get you from here to where you want to be. And skills. Do we get that? Belief and skills. And I'm going to say exactly what Jay said. I think he said. If you don't believe in what you're doing, if you don't believe in what you're selling, you need to either change that by changing your mindset and really taking the time to figure out what's wrong, or maybe you're selling the wrong thing. Maybe you're doing the wrong thing. Maybe you're doing something that you're not destined to do. And if that's true, your gut, your intuition, your instinct will scream and scream at you. It will never go. It will always be there at the pit of your stomach. Until you wake up and find what you're really born to do. So on that note, promise me 2 things. Keep investing in your education wherever that may be. I would recommend in digital skills. And secondly, I'd recommend in self-awareness, and more importantly, mentors and influencers and leaders in each of those areas that you recognize that you need to deal with. Because as you begin to unblock these blockers, suddenly those crazy goals are in sight. Like going up a cloudy set of stairs to the moon. You can't see the moon, you just know it's there. You take 4 steps, you remove a block, you can take another 4, and all of a sudden you can see the next 4 that you couldn't see before. All of a sudden that money limiting belief that's holding you back because of the way you were programmed as a child or through your influences in your life, the gate opens, and guess what? You see the next 4.
Sometimes you can't make it, best you can do.